So this area has a lot of trees. I have a couple palm trees, have this seedling tree. This was a lemon meringue tree that we recently cut back because it was getting huge. And this tree was just in the shade of a lot of other trees. It's actually a Florigon tree, and it was competing with the Edward tree over there and other things. So I decided to cut it back and make it sort of part of a long-term project. This is actually step 3 of the project. First step was that I grafted some ice cream mango onto a tree that I wanted the ice cream mango flowers to be pollinated by. And it's a larger fruit. I thought that would make an interesting cross. And so I actually got 6 fruit from that experiment. 6 fruit last year, 0 this year, unfortunately. And I planted the seeds, and these are the ones that survived, from almost total neglect. I just put a tag into the pot saying ice cream, and then I, tried to keep it watered, but there's always a lot of other things that are going on. So anyway, those are the survivors. Recently, I cut off the leaves of the tips of each of these 4 seedlings, and today is the day to graft those scions onto this tree. So hopefully we'll have all of these scions take, but the first step is, of course, to graft them and to mark which seedling each one came from, because the chances are pretty low that all 4 scions would take. I hope they do, but you want to be prepared in case one of them or more than one doesn't take. You want to graft the same seedling onto the tree that, as the one that failed. So anyway, here we have our 4 seedlings, and oh yes, I do have a pen with me. So I'm going to be creative and number them 1 through 4. So anyway, I just put those numbers on the low part of the plant. So we'll start with number 1 first, and I just use small little scions because that's all I need. And if it fails, there's some nice wood right underneath. It's actually it's still pretty flexible, so that should be really good if I need it. So this scion has all these buds right here, so that should be good. Of course, grafting the scion. Make sure that there's no moisture loss. And for this occasion, I'm going to use a brand new blade. I often use these razor blades far past when other people would toss them out, but today is a good day to start with a fresh one. I'm just going to use a top cleft graft. You want to get the point down to what you envision as 1 cell thick. Oops, lost a little bit of there we go. And then I have a few young shoots around. So I think this one is about the right diameter, so I'm going to just put it right in here. This is a pretty good location because this palm tree is blocking most of the midday sun. So it does seem to be about the right diameter, going just a little bit off center. At least that was my intention. Fit it right in there. Get that buddy tape back. It's a fine place to put it. So I want to make sure that the scion is completely covered. So it involves wrapping the union, and then I'll use elastic strip to make sure that the contact is good here with this. And for this particular size strap, I should be able to do 2 grafts with it. Oops, darn. Sometimes that just happens, a little overly ambitious. Use the lower part, still, and start again. Whoops. Okay. So then, oh, come on. There we go. That's going to be better. Okay, so before I forget, let's mark 1 on this particular graft. I'm going to put it on both sides, give myself 2 clues. And then basically do the same thing for these other scions. I guess I'll go in numerical order. The little teeny one here is the second one. And even though it hasn't lost those leaf stems, it's sprouting out. This has just got a lot of momentum to it. So it's even, normally I wait for these little stems to easily come off of the tree, the leaf stems, off of the seedling. But in this case, with all these sprouts, gonna just do that ahead of time, or graft it before that time. So first thing, whoops, oh, there we go, being too organized. So seal it up. And get my blade back. I'll make sure that point is the same thickness on both sides. Be careful when you use any sharp instrument. You can cut yourself with a knife as much as with a blade, but there you go. And so I am going to find a little skinny shoot to put that into. That looks like one to do it with here. So this is a little skinnier than this shoot is. So I'm going to try and just cut a little bit off center so that the cross section works out for this particular scion. when in doubt, just line it up to one side. Looks like both sides are going to be good though. Since this is such a protected location, I think this one is going to be okay. This particular graft is going to be okay with just using buddy tape. So I twisted it a little bit for a little extra strength. And now I need to get another small piece to cover that area there. Another one right here. I just want to make sure that's all sealed up. And I'm gonna leave myself a little trail of breadcrumbs. This is the second one, number 2. So next in line, I have to make this 3 a little better. Looking at it, thinking it looks a lot like a 2. Sure, that's a 3. Never know what I might be looking at quickly in the future. Make sure I leave myself good clues. So yeah, this one has sprouted out, but it has a lot of nice buds anyway. So we'll just take this sprout out off, and the leaf stems are coming off fairly easily. We have a couple little buds up here, but we also have the seedling plant still if this doesn't work out for some reason. Razor blade. So I think this will probably be the one I go into, the shoot that I go into. I've never cut myself like this, so just don't worry, I really won't cut myself. So that looks pretty darn good. Maybe a tiny bit more off. And then I think I'll go to this upper part of this particular shoot just because it is a little skinnier. See how the thickness is. A little bit off center would be great. Okay. I tend to, when it's like this, you have a little curved one and a flat side to the wedge. I put the flat side toward the middle of the cut, and the wedge on the weaker side, so because this is going to be more flexible than the majority. You know, there's more of the shoot down below than there is up above in this particular cut. buddy right back in there. Okay. Looking good. It's lined up on that side. Start at the bottom, work your way up. Make sure everything's all in line. And then with the extra, I'm just going to twist it around for a little extra strength. And since these are such skinny shoots and graft number 1 didn't work out too well with the big elastic, and that's the only kind I have in my little to-go kit, I'm going to do another piece of buddy tape. I'm just going to fold it over, make it a little thicker, a little stronger, and wrap it around again. Maybe add a twist or two in the middle here. And then, very importantly, put a number 3 on here. And I'll put one on the top too, make it twice as easy for me to see it. So we have just one more left, which is good because it's sort of hot and humid today. This particular scion has sprouted out a few times, but it still has some good buds, and so I think we'll be okay with it. If not, we'll just work our way down the seedling. Get the next scion from the next step there. Okay, so we're going to wrap this. Make sure you overlap existing stuff. There we go. Grab the scion, and I think what I'll do is I'll just do a side cleft on this one because we have a little bit of a bend here, and this is a nice strong shoot, and it seems like it would be a good place. So we've got a little bit of a curve going this way on this particular scion, so I'll take advantage of that curve. And making the outside of this particular scion a little bit short of the cut end. And we'll go right. Let's go right here. Let's see if it fits in there. Looks like it could use a little more off of this area right here. Make it fit in a little better. All this part will just be cut off anyway, so it really doesn't matter that there's an extra long slice there. So it's really sort of a combination of a side veneer and a side cleft. I did a little bit longer cut on that outside part of the scion. I'll wrap it for stay in its place with this buddy tape plus the moisture loss thing. This is definitely a case for an elastic. Got a much easier place to wrap it. Okay, so it's all situated there. And the last thing I'll do with this is I'm just going to leave, I think, 4 leaves on, and just cut this top off. That should provide this a little more energy to this particular scion. These new leaves do not earn their keep for like 45 days, so they're just taking energy right now. So they're off, and hopefully, well, actually, the last thing I'm going to do is put a number 4 on this. But hopefully, all of these scions will take. But if for some reason one or even all of them don't take, we know which ones to graft again. What I'm hoping for, of course, I would like all of these grafts to take, but if not, I'll come back and graft them again. But grafting these seedling scions onto an existing plant should make, should enable them to make fruit faster. The whole goal is to figure out if these particular seedlings make a new and exciting kind of fruit, if it's really worthwhile. And if you just plant a seed and wait for it to fruit, it can be more than 10 years. I'm not that patient, so this is 1 year into the project as far as planting the seed, getting the seedlings, and then grafting onto these particular shoots. So I'm hoping in possibly 2 years we will see the fruit from these particular seedlings. It's only been 9 days and we have good news. I grafted 4 different scions on this tree. This is a Florigon tree. Grafted some seedling ice cream mango on here, and every one of them has taken. I've got, with this first one, we've got some leaves coming out of here and then up on top. Second one, we have all sorts of action going on top. Third one, we have leaves starting to form on top. And this fourth one was actually the star performer. This particular shoot was about this tall, and either a seed fell on it or animal brushed against it. When they're that young, they're really, really tender, so that one broke off. That particular shoot broke off. But I'm really confident that that is going to grow from some other place. We have a pretty good bud going on this side and also against the, the Florigon shoot here. So 2 more chances that look like they're real probable for that particular one. So very good news. Of course, I still have the seedling plants. If any one of these happens to break off or fail in some other way, I have the original seedlings that I could harvest another scion from. But for now, this project is well on its way. After these grow a little bit more, I'll start cutting back the Florigon, and so that more energy will be going to growing these ice cream seedlings.